Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Artist Jam. My name is Maricela Hernandez and I'll be your host for today. This week on Artist Jam, we're going to be jamming with Andre Ramirez. He is an artist from the Central Valley. Andre, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Totally glad to have you here. I know that earlier this week you actually shared with me a quote that really resonates with you. Could you share a little bit more about that and why it really connects with you?
Basically, it's just like if you don't fear the voice inside of you, you won't fear the critics outside of you. And to me, it's like ever since like I'm my own worst critic, I'm always fear like what people don't like it or what people don't like the way I do this or what if just people don't appreciate it how I like it. I've always doubted myself. I never had the like just like the I guess like the courage or just the confidence in myself to just go out there and put myself out there in front of everybody. But 'cause I think once I learned to just like my work, my own stuff, I won't really, it won't matter what other people say about it or think about it.
That's really relatable to a lot of people, and I think that's really important. When did you discover this quote?
Well, I discovered it like a few years back. I don't remember exactly how I discovered it. I just saw it on the internet, and I just once I saw it, I just immediately connected to it.
Nice. Oh man, this is a very powerful quote, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it because I think that, like I said, it relates to everyone, because we are our own worst critics.
To me, it's like a reminder to myself not to compare myself to others and just believe in my own work.
I completely agree with you on that point. I think for me, it's like, you know how they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Well, so is art, right? Like, we all see art in a different way. So, Andre, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I've been born and raised here in Fresno. I've never lived anywhere else but here, so this is the only place that I know of home. I guess just your normal guy, just go to work and just do art on my free time or read books on my free time and just listen to music. Go to
Nice. When did you start your art journey? Like, what were you going through? What point in your life were you at?
I think ever since I can remember, I've been drawing because I've even found like old books of mine just like that I just draw since I was like a kid. So probably like 10, 9, around there. I've always been drawing. But I never really like took it seriously because I never thought I could do something with it until I discovered Art Hop and like saw like all the different artists that they were out there in Fresno. So then that's when I started taking it more seriously and just started drawing on my own and just
Nice. What type of art do you do, by the way? I know that I see some paintings behind you there, but is that the only style of art you do?
I mainly do just like acrylics and charcoal. Sometimes like just pen.
When you get that moment of inspiration and you're like in the middle of work or you're like, somewhere where it's not your studio or not your art space, what do you do to kind of jot down your ideas, or do you get a pen and like a little like note piece of paper to and start sketching a quick idea out, or what happens?
No, I just like if I ever have an idea like I'm at work or somewhere else, I just try to keep it in the back of my head, try to remember it. And once I get home, I just try to do like a little quick sketch. So whenever I want to get to it, I just go back to this little quick sketch, then just build up from the sketch that I. Sometimes it'll come out completely different what I thought about.
Sometimes I'm like either riding a bus or I'm like in the car and I'm like, huh, that's a good idea, and I'm just like, I have to write it down because I'll forget something if I don't write it down.
Yeah, that or just keep my phone on, just write myself a little note reminder on my phone just to think about it, and so I won't forget about it.
Yeah, totally there with you. Another question I wanted to ask you was just what's your favorite part of the whole artistic process? Is it just, having the idea and making the idea happen, or just showing it to the world?
I think my favorite part is just getting lost in that moment. Once I'm drawing, like drawing or painting or whatever I'm doing, I just get lost in the moment, and you don't really think about the outside world or what's going on. You just focus on what you're doing. It's just me in that moment. So everything's just blocked out. I don't think about anything else or see anything else. It's just me and whatever I'm drawing or painting.
Since you started taking your art seriously, have how many pieces have you sold, and how many pieces have you created since then?
The first time I saw something, it was kind of like a bittersweet moment because there was something part of me that just let it go, and I would never see it again. Once I started taking more seriously, I have a lot more work that I've done since I started doing it, just to promote it and put it out there for everybody to see.
Is there a particular place that you work in or you like to just be in just to be inspired to do work? Or do you kind of like you can work anywhere, any place, and just sketch whatever comes to your mind?
As long as I have music, like headphones or whatever, I think I just go paint or draw anywhere.
Mhm. So you're mentioning music a lot. So what type of music really gets you in the zone to really work and get into your art?
Well, I'm mainly just into like rock and metal kind of music.
All right, all right. Just like I listen to a little bit of everything, so I'm just like a little bit of Metallica and like more 70s stuff. but but yeah, totally. That's so awesome. I think that when we're in our moment of peace and like, whether it's you listening to just music and just getting into your work or, setting that space and being in that space where you feel comfortable to do your work and not feel judged is just important for us to all discover. Another thing I wanted to go into was just like your time since quarantine started. How have you been?
Well, it's been pretty good to me. It hasn't really changed that much because I've been working these past 2 months. I kind of wish I had those 2 months off so I could just focus everything on drawing and painting.
You haven't had a break and you've been working through this whole pandemic. Have you seen any other changes that's happened, at least in your work? Or have you seen any, like, have you noticed that you are being inspired by something that's happening during this time?
No, I don't think the only big change I've seen is just like I mentioned, the social distancing and the face masks that we now required to work at work where I work. But besides that, it's just I'm trying to keep it as normal as possible as it was before.
What's the most challenging piece that you've worked on and just trying to complete it, or if you haven't completed it?
I think probably the more challenging one was when I did the Phoenix that I sent you because I never really dabbled into working with animals or like mythological creatures, I guess you could say. To me, my favorite thing to use is charcoal. That's what I feel more comfortable in using. So I wanted to make it with charcoal. I think it was just harder to get it all the feathers to look more realistic like.
Speaking of, I actually have it with me. Let's take a look at a couple of your pieces that you shared. So this is the piece that you shared with me, and when I saw it, I was just like really amazed. It looks wonderful. I think you did such a great job on this one.
Thank you.
What even like you're talking about how you were having a hard time with the feathers, but I think it looks awesome, and it's I don't know. There's just something in it that just like makes it feel like very fluid, or like I don't know, and even the bird's eyes are like, I got this, like very fierce. You did share a couple other images, and I wanted to go into those as well. So can you tell me a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Well, that's supposed to be Saturn, like the planet Saturn. And that's like to me, like space is like so fascinating to me because it's like so massive, so like bigger than we can ever comprehend. I also did another one that's 12 is with Saturn with the skyline of Fresno.
Out of all the planets, you said you really liked the rings of Saturn, but just how did you even get into like looking at different planets and being inspired by this by Saturn?
No, I think it's just it's rings. Like the rings are to me, it's hard to comprehend how all those rings or the rock formations have stayed together all these years and they
Mhm.
don't just float away. Like what makes them stick together?
So
Yeah.
we're gonna go into the next one, and this one honestly can be my personal favorite. So tell me how you came to just like want to sketch Mrs. Frankenstein. Unfortunately, I don't know her real name, but I just looking at this one, it looks amazing, and I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, that one I saw that one too. And I just, I don't know, to me, I like both the Bride and Frankenstein and just Frankenstein himself. So I actually have both of them together, but she's the only one that sold. Frankenstein didn't sell.
So how long did it take you to make to create this one, and what was the challenging part for this one?
It took about, I think, about 6 hours to like all together. Because sometimes I'll do it, and then sometimes I'll get frustrated with it. I'll just leave it alone for a while, and then until I come back to it. The harder part is to getting the detail in the hair right, getting every strand of hair, making it look more like hair instead of just like a black area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta say, like, this is like one of my favorite ones.
Thank you.
So one thing that always happens to anyone in any artistic field and probably any field in general, who get a block, specifically with you, artist block. What do you do to get over that, and how long have you seen yourself just kind of like suffer from this?
I think every artist has a different process to go through their artist block or however they go through it. And to me, I just like whenever I want to draw or paint or just anything, and if I don't have any idea what to do, I just start to doodle, just keep doodling until I just either find a creator or I get bored and just leave it around. Or sometimes I'll just go back to my old drawings and be like, hey, I want to do this, but I want to make something. I want to make it different,
What's advice that you would give to people who are aspiring to be an artist?
just to keep doing what you're doing, and it don't matter if people don't like it or hate it or creativity. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, just keep doing it and keep at it. Because there was this point for a few years that all I would do was just charcoal and charcoal and charcoal and charcoal for years and years until this one point I got tired of it and it was just, I didn't want to do it anymore. So I went to YouTube and just Google YouTube how to use acrylics, and that's how I taught myself just through YouTube how to use acrylic and how to mix and blend colors on YouTube. So that's what I'm telling you. If you don't, if you're stuck and you don't know how to do something, just go to YouTube and just figure it out. As long as you have the passion for it, you'll figure it out and you'll learn how to do it.
I like that. It's definitely don't give up. And I love the fact that, like, once you got tired of doing this charcoal for so long, you actually decided you wanted to learn something new and you actually worked and looked and researched through it. So that's really interesting because for me, I always see a lot of people that's like, oh, I don't know, this is all I know how to do. That's it. But I love the fact that you were so resourceful into and committed to learning a new type of art. And so I think like even when you're doing art with your pen, and I've also looked at some of your art on Instagram, and it's amazing seeing you go from charcoal work to acrylic to pins. So I think that you're very resourceful in just using whatever medium comes to your hand and just putting whatever your heart wants to draw on that paper or whatever on the canvas. So I think that's really great. We're coming close to the end of our segment and actually have a game for us to play. I sent you a link, and since you are a guest, you get to start first, okay? Okay. So let me just, like I said before, this is a quick draw. This is a game made by Google. And basically, what you have to do is draw 6 images. Each image, you get 20 seconds to draw, and may the best person win. I don't even know how you're gonna make a newspaper. How do you do that? I don't like. I'll just put like news or something. A bush. You want to draw George Bush? Just kidding. All right. It's out of this world. Got the moon. A string bean. Gosh, the guesses that Google does, dude.
Right?
right, let's see what's next.
Tornado.
A tornado. All right, let's see how this one looks out.
Yeah, it's still stuck on tornado.
All right. Well, we'll just finish that on there, and then we'll come back over. You can stop screen sharing. Well, at least you got 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. My turn. Let's see what I can do. I definitely am no artist, but I'm going to give it a whirl. All right. So, got my handy dandy little pin here. And we're going to try this out. Let's see if I can decently draw. All right. A crab. Oh, crud. Okay. Circle, leg, 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 leg. That looks more like a, I don't know what that is. Okay, an arm, elbow. That's a sharp elbow. Oh my goodness. I don't know what that is. There's a hand. They're hitchhiking. There's hair. There's a body. There's a head. That was terrible. Okay. A nail. Okay. I'm going to draw a nail on a finger or a nail. I don't even know what it will take. I couldn't even draw the hammer. I forgot how to draw a hammer. Okay. I think I should get a bicycle. Come on. I should have this. And oh, I forgot to draw the petals. Okay. A necklace. Okay. And a little pendant. There we go. Okay, alarm clock. I got this. It's old school alarm clock. Where the bells at?
The bells.
Well, I gotta say, for my first 4 images, they weren't that great. I'm gonna totally give that to you because look at my arm, guys. Like this is how the elbow was supposed to be drawn. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this shows you everybody's attempt at trying to draw an elbow. It was, oh yeah, nope, I was bad. All bad there. So Andre, thank you so much for playing, and even though you only did 4, I think you kind of like take it because my crab, I don't know what that is. It looks like a tick. I don't know.
Like a spider?
Yeah, there you go. A spider. It doesn't even have all the legs. Oh, man. But yeah, you take the win for that one. Where can we find more of your work? Where can our viewers see your stuff?
Basically, just go to my Instagram, which is artwork by Ramirez or Fit. Whenever we start rolling our hub, I'll be out there.
Sweet. Definitely. I can't wait till we open up and we see Art Hop going on. I love Art Hop. I think that's just something so special that we've had in our community, and unfortunately due to the times, it's been like sad that we weren't able to really do it every month or haven't been able to do it. But I'm hoping that in the future we can get Art Hop back up and running. But until then, we definitely would love more artists like you on our show to just share our love and to share you with the world. And I hope that everything goes well and you also get that vacation time that you need so you can definitely work on some of your art. Well, folks, that's the end of today's show. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.